Thanks, Gene. We've been such proud partners right from the very beginning, so thank you so much for having us. Silicon Valley Bank is a bank for startups and premium wineries. Maybe Foss can figure out the correlation on that and get back to us. So I'm here to introduce Rob from Koyfin. Rob is the CEO and founder and started the company because he was really frustrated about the lack of available tools available to him when his Bloomberg subscription ended. Rob is a former strategist and trader at Goldman, Citigroup, and most recently Technicapital. Please welcome Rob and Koyfin.
Thank you so much, Glenn. For the record, I asked for Metallica, but I got that instead. My name is Rob. I'm the founder and CEO of Koyfin. We're building investment research tools focused on visualization for institutional investors. Wanted to thank some people that have helped us get here today. Gene and Tatiana from FinTech Sandbox, really helpful. Also Danielle and Jim for their kind feedback. Also wanted to thank our data partners, Zacks, Morningstar, Reuters, and AWS. Really thankful for their partnership and the partnership going forward. So just to give you a quick background, I started Koyfin because I thought there was a problem in the marketplace when it comes to research tools. Basically, the tools are either really expensive or for more affordable tools, the functionality is very limited. And basically across the board, the user interface could be improved much more. So we're creating something that has a lot of functionality with a much better user interface that exists today. I basically spent 15 years on Wall Street on the buy side and sell side. I worked as an analyst, I worked as a strategist, I worked as a trader, and I'm building the tools that I would have wanted to use for myself, and I know my colleagues at my previous firms would want to use also. Let me walk you through some examples of functions that an analyst might want to do at a hedge fund or an investment bank. I'm going to pull up a price chart and annotate it. I'm going to look at a fundamental graph over time. I'm going to look at screening the market, and I'm going to look at our collaboration and integration into Slack. So the way you ask information in Koyfin is you type it into the command box. So here we're asking for the Apple chart. Basically, once you have the Apple chart, it functions like a Google map. You could zoom in, zoom out, drag the chart. All the parameters on the left-hand side, for example, we could add a moving average, change that moving average to 100, or we could add other indicators. So if we wanted to look at RSI, for example. Once we have a chart, we want to annotate it, and we want to point out observations about the chart. So for example, here, we put a support line at the $91 level on Apple, and we sort of say support. And once we have those annotations, what we want to do is share our brilliant insights with our colleagues. And the way you do that on Koyfin is one click of a mouse. You basically copy the chart into your clipboard, and you go to your email, and you paste the chart. Not only is the chart pasted in, the link is pasted in as well. So the recipient could just click on the link and go right back to the chart. So that workflow is much more seamless than what you have today, where you have to go into PowerPoint, annotate the chart, copy it back into an email, and the recipient just sees a dead chart, which they can't click on. Let me show you how you pull up fundamentals in our program as well. Again, you type what you want. So for example, here, we're asking for Facebook gross margins. It pulls it up pretty quickly. Here we have 5 years worth of data. Let's change that for all available data since the IPO in 2010. And maybe we want to compare cash flow versus margins. That's done pretty quickly. Or let's say we want to do cross-company analysis. So we have gross margins for Facebook, and we want to add Apple, and we want to add IBM. And we notice that Facebook gross margins are growing much quicker than the other two, and probably explains the stock price as well. So really easy to look at any sort of time series analysis just by typing what you want. In terms of screening the market, the way we screen the market is, again, visually. So we look at all the stocks in the S&P 500, and we could screen on two variables. So here, let's say we want to screen on short interest, and we want to screen on 3-month price performance. So we have our stocks in the S&P 500 on 3-month performance, on short interest. And what we then want to do is we want to look at the outliers. And the way we do that is we hover over the stock. So for example, Frontier, we see that the stock has just started to go down, and short interest has recently started to spike up, which is pretty interesting. For Transocean, the stock has been bottoming for a number of months, and short interest is pretty high and has been coming down recently. So again, really interesting ways to screen for outliers. You could put an index here or a portfolio. The next thing I want to share with you is the way we think about collaboration and how we think about communication within teams. We've integrated into Slack. For those of you that don't know Slack, Slack is a chat platform. It's being very widely adopted. It's hoped to one day replace email, knock on wood. And so any team that has Slack can access any of the analysis we've built on Koyfin in Slack. Let me show you how that works. Basically, in your Slack channel, in your message channel, you could pull up the information with the commands on Koyfin. So here, we're again asking for the Apple price chart, and it sort of pulls that up right away. Or if you want to compare Apple versus Facebook, you could do that as well. We have about 30 company-specific functions that you could request within the platform. Or you can request market color. So for example, if you want to look at the top-performing stocks in the Russell 1000 today, we just type in top, and we get the top 10 and bottom 10. Or we can ask for market color. So for example, we want to look at some cross-asset color, and we get that as well. So really get a good sense of what's going on in the market today. We've been building out our tools. We'll continue to build out our tools. We hope to launch in the first quarter of next year. If you work in an institution and you think these tools might be useful to you, please come see us at our table. Thank you so much.